Well, I appreciate your time. I have our Commissioner Sam Simmons with me today. I'm Don Burns.
Sam Simmons, my pleasure.
Thank you for your time very much. And I want to thank COhatch for letting me use this beautiful room. And it's not every day that I get to meet someone who's done so much for our city and our community. It's a rare occasion, and I really appreciate your time.
You're quite welcome.
Where are you originally from, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I was born in a little small town in Georgia called Devereaux, which probably has about 200 people.
Wow.
When I was born, there's probably less now. Came here when I was about 5 years old, and I've been here ever since. Except for going to college and a few minor excursions.
So it was out of your control that you ended up in Lakeland. Mom and Dad just came here
Right.
when you were just a baby and diapers, and this is where we're at.
Right.
What did your mom and dad do, if you don't mind me asking?
It's
What brought them here?
It's interesting. You may not know this, but back then in Georgia, there was a call. There was this saying that money was growing on trees, and what that alluded to was the fact that the citrus industry was very prevalent back then, and so people could come here and pick the citrus trees, the oranges, the grapefruit, the tangerines, and so I come to find out when I got in elementary and got up in about fourth, fifth, sixth grade, I found out that many of my friends were from the same, if not the same town, certainly the same area, the same region, because their parents had heard the same call that money was growing on trees, that Black people could come here to Central Florida and pick the orange groves, and then pick the orange trees and the grapefruit trees and the tangerine trees and such, and make a living.
And so your dad decided to make them move, or mom said, we're going to go down there to, money's easier.
Right.
And we're talking like 50s, 60s?
We're talking 60s.
60s?
Right.
Yeah, that is the first time I've heard that, because I'm originally from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in the Army, the military, my mom and dad were tired of the cold in Cincinnati, and they moved down here to Tampa. And when I got out of the Army, I said, well, there's nothing here for me, so I'll come down here to Tampa. And so basically I followed my mom and dad the same way, but I miss the cold. I miss the cold. And then since then, I met my wife. She's from Plant City, and I hear about the history of the orange industry. Florida was the orange industry, and you had all of these trees everywhere. And
right. At one point, Lakeland, Polk County was touted as the citrus capital of the world.
It was citrus capital of the world.
And then after so many devastating freezes and epidemics to the fruit, to the groves, to the trees.
Those things that
it kind of, and then of course that with the development kind of rooted out. While we still have citrus fruits, but it's certainly not as it used to be.
Yeah, the growth and the expansion of Polk County, Florida, just the climate, it just draws people.
Right.
It's fantastic. So you went to school down here. I understand you're a doctorate. You have a doctorate? Where did you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
No. Once I came out, I went to Lincoln Elementary, which is now Lincoln Academy. Went to Lakeland Junior High, which is now Lawton Childs Middle School.
I remember that beautiful building.
Yeah. Went to Kathleen High School, graduated from Kathleen High School, and left there and went to Florida A&M University. And of all things, I majored in political science.
Not knowing?
Thinking that I could get a job. So once I graduated from FAMU and got a job, and with a major in political science, couldn't find out there were no jobs for political scientists. So I went back to school, excuse me, and took up accounting, got a degree in accounting. In fact, One of my first jobs in my career was an accountant with the city of Lakeland, believe it or
Oh,
not. Yeah, yeah,
wow. See, these
yeah,
things are,
yeah. So I worked with the city of Lakeland for about 6 years, and then I went into, and I decided as I was working there that I wanted to do something more beneficial with my life besides crunching numbers. So I went and I got into the uh, the housing authority industry. And eventually, I worked as at the Tampa Housing Authority and the Lakeland Housing Authority, and uh, and then eventually, for the past probably about 18 years, I've been on my own in my own business with Sam Simmons Housing and Financial Services. So basically, what I do is I develop affordable housing. I'm also a developer.
oh,
Uh, I have an accounting aspect of my business, as well as real estate sales and consulting. So back to so once my kids met my daughter Tiffany, I got a son also, and once they're about a year and a half apart. So once they got out of high school and decided that they wanted to go to college, I decided to go to college and finish, and get my degree. So I got my
wow.
master's degree in business administration from Webster University online, and then I went to. I figured, well, may as well go get my doctorate. Probably another 2 or 3 years. Couldn't find it. It took me 5 years to get my doctorate in business administration from Walden University. But it was a good thing. Good thing. There, my dissertation was on affordable housing, and housing has always been a real important aspect of my life because as growing up, we were poor, and somehow we always seem to end up with the worst looking house on the block. I mean, even in the poor neighborhoods. so, so I don't know.
Circumstances.
Yeah, so I think my passion has always lent toward affordable housing and decent and safe sanitary housing.
Well,
So,
having that close to your heart of having housing for everyone or trying to do your best to ensure that each and every person has a place to feel safe at and call their home
oh yeah,
is very, very
yeah,
admirable.
yeah. That's one of my passions, affordable housing, and so I carry it with me. So I'm so I got out of that, and see, I became the president of the Webster Park Neighborhood Association, which is an association of neighbors within a geographical district, the Webster Park area, and we meet. So I actually led the community with improvements and making sure that the neighborhood itself was safe. Did that for about 20 years,
Oh, wow.
and then the opportunity for a city commissioner appointment became available, and I pursued that, and by the grace of God, in Jesus' name, I was able to get it. And so now I'm running again for re-election. I promised the Lord that if I got it, I would run again. So I'm keeping a promise.
Can you share some of the things that you've learned by being a commissioner for a year? Is it hard? Is it what you expected compared to your political science degree? Is it nothing like you thought? Is it?
Well, keep in mind that I certainly learned some things from my political science degree, and that is that different interest groups impact the body politic, so to speak. And that certainly means that different interest groups advocate for what they want to see happen within the city. And couldn't find out there are certainly power groups who actually are outside of the city government who influence the decisions, or certainly attempt to influence the decisions that commissioners make. And I'm sure that's everywhere.
So that comes down to having resources to make those influences.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things I learned is that you can't do it, and I knew this all along. But once as a single city commissioner, You really can't do anything by yourself. You need to advocate and make strong, sound arguments with your other colleagues on the city commission. And then once you all agree to an issue, then you pursue it. That's where you get things done. By advocacy, putting it out there that you're for this and these are the reasons that you want to see this happen. And then they come along aboard with you and you make things happen that way.
And has it always turned out the way you wanted to, or is it always a challenge?
Yeah, I love challenges.
Love
I
challenge.
love challenges. Yeah, my life is about challenges. Um, Actually, it's not always the way you want it to do. I mean, in fact, I perhaps think that this is one of the reasons that I really got into it was because I was advocating in my neighborhood some years ago that a particular commercial warehouse not be built on a residential street. And I went before the city commissioners and I talked. I went before the planning review board and spoke about it, spoke against it, went before, and to my disappointment, it didn't happen. They approved the warehouse anyway, and but you know, I was glad that I had an opportunity to voice my opinion. I think that's what we have in this country that we really need to appreciate. That we have the opportunity to make the argument for our case. You know, whether people listen or not, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But we do have that opportunity. And I think that's what separates our country and our nation from other nations, is that we don't have that, is that we have the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press.
You may not get what you want, but you'll be heard.
Yeah.
Better than anywhere else, anyway.
Yeah. I like that. And I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, I also understand that weren't you a founding member of the Diversity Council or something?
Central Florida Business Diversity Council, right? About 11 years ago, myself along with Larry Mitchell and a few others actually founded an organization where it's actually an umbrella organization with minority and small businesses coming together on a monthly basis where we collaborate and network with regard to our businesses and developing our businesses and bringing about education and facilitating contracts as well as training.
That's fantastic because I've attended those meetings before.
Is that right?
And I found out that Mr. Sam Simmons was one of the founding members. I was like, "Are you serious? I'm getting ready to interview him."
Yeah.
That's really cool. The only minority you would say is I'm a disabled veteran, and that's what allows me to look into those meetings and join the workshops.
Well, not only that, but I mean, if you're a small business, you can join as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. So you're asking for people's vote November 7th, and you are running on the fact that you're trying to make sure that everybody has a place, a nice home. I know there's a lot of development going on here in Lakeland, and it's going to need more in the future because we're expanding much more on a faster rate. But that is the closest thing to your heart is affordable housing?
Well, no, that's one of the things. You know,
Okay.
I mean, my overall agenda is that the residents of Lakeland have a better quality of life. You know, and I think the thing that we have to look at that threatens our quality of life is the enormous growth that we're experiencing here in Lakeland. Growth impacts public safety, which is both police, fire, and fire rescue. It impacts our infrastructure. We need roads. Our wastewater needs to be improved. It impacts affordable housing. It impacts economic development. We need to provide a workable wage, an affordable wage for people to live in Lakeland, to buy affordable homes, to have a decent standard of living. So improving the quality of life is really the overarching theme of what I want to achieve in Lakeland.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I know that there are people who, I mean, we do have a homeless like anywhere else, but the fact that opportunities are not even presented to some people, having the opportunity to get a job, to live in a home, to have a car, to get to where you need to go to do the things that now the freaking prices of food is getting out of hand.
Oh yeah.
So making the quality of life for everyone is stakeholder is it's fantastic that someone like that is going to stick on that topic of opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, and it comes incrementally. And by that I means, as different issues come before the city commission, I mean, we have to vote on those issues. For instance, a developer may come in and say, I want to put certain number of units in this particular area. And so along with that developer will also come citizens, residents in that area who may voice their opposition against it because there's too much density there. There are too many units for that area, and it may congest the streets. And so we have to look at each individual case. While we may not reject the developer in whole, we may ask him to cut back on some of those units to make it more livable, to make the roads more easy for the residents to pass through, to dilute some of the congestion.
Well, yeah, there's one thing that I've been here 20 years. I moved here in 2003, and I live on the north side, and the traffic has increased. Off of Memorial Boulevard, the traffic has increased, and it just takes time to build those roads. It takes time to expand. And these are things I take for granted.
Right.
I just see the end result because I'm just JQ resident, I don't pay attention to these things. I just like another traffic light. I got to wait for another traffic light, another traffic, or the diet downtown. Like I take it all for granted.
Right. Now, one of the things that being proposed is the half-cent sales tax referendum, and what that'll do is someone has devised a schedule showing how much money will come into the city of Lakeland and to other cities within Polk County for the next 20 years if the citizens of Polk County decide to pass this referendum for the half-cent sales tax. It'll repair our road situation, which we need, and there's no other solution out there. Certainly no one wants taxes. That's kind of a bad word, but the reality is that if we are to improve our roads, our situation, then we need to at least give the citizens an opportunity to vote either up or down whether they want that half-cent sales tax referendum, because we have to. The reality is that we are one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, as well as one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. So we've been given an extraordinary designation. And so we have to take extraordinary means in order to deal with the consequences of that designation. And the consequences in this particular case certainly is our road situation, our need for road repair.
So is that referendum this November 7th?
No. It's if the county commission either has to put it on as a referendum for the 24 ballot.
A year from now?
Yeah, or we have to have a certain number of people to sign a petition to put it on the ballot. But it's something that that needs to be looked at.
And would it go from like 7 to 7.5 or 7.5 to 8? The sales tax is like 7%, right? It's not like we would see a whole heck of a lot out of our pockets.
Right. Just half cent sales
Just a
tax.
half cent.
Yeah,
So
half cent.
I always wondered what they would do if someone says, "Okay, we got a half a sales tax, and they went through, and we were at 7, and now it's going to be 7.5. What do they do with that other half? Because you know they got to round up. What happens to that other half? I always wonder what happened to that other half. You got to round it up, so someone might as well pocket and use that. So
that's interesting.
I always wondered that. I'm like, where does that money go? Where's that money go?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else that you would like? I don't have a big audience, but I have a few people that will watch this, and that they're in your district.
Yeah. I'd like to say something. I'd like to say that it's been a real pleasure to serve as a city commissioner for the Northwest District for this past year, and I hope to continue to serve and to bring my talent, skills, ability, and background to bear on what will be happening in Lakeland's future. So I'm certainly seeking your vote. I've always, at some point, been civically minded. We've been campaigning for the past couple of months, and I had an opportunity to visit with the Kiwanis Club here about a week or two ago, and it's crazy. It's ironic, but I remember 50 years ago when I was in the 9th grade, my civics teacher asked me to come down to the Kiwanis Club, which was downtown, for a public speaking contest, and which was my first time actually being introduced to the Kiwanis Club, and I actually won 3rd place in that public speaking contest. But the import of what I'm saying is that I look back 50 years, and my mind has always been geared toward doing something civically, and I love it. I love new ideas. I love concepts. I love challenges. So thank you for this opportunity.